Action. We are
Wow,
recording. We're
we're
live.
back.
First international podcast for the fellas.
Yeah, we've only done it in person.
Yeah, only
This is
done it in
big. Even during
person.
COVID, we did
Only
it in
done it in
person.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Didn't ever
Wow,
try it
okay.
in Kansas City.
No,
Everyone
we
knows.
never
Everyone knows that. Everyone knows why.
everyone knows you were too stubborn to come back.
Oh, that's rich. That's rich.
No, but this is a good episode because I don't really know a lot what's going on with you. I know I saw you last weekend, but
Mm-hmm.
this will be a fun little catch up because before we were doing it, we kind of knew about what was going on in each other's lives, but this time anything could have happened in the past like week and a half.
Yeah. So for the listeners, a lot's gone down. I don't know what the listeners have known
I think
prior to today.
a majority of
Oh,
them
okay.
probably
Well,
wouldn't know.
yeah. Did you know that we got 120 views on episode 10?
No way, really?
Yeah. Check the video. It's kind of crazy. I don't know why. I don't know why people are watching that. I think maybe just it has a dramatic title,
Oh
the end
wow,
of the trail.
it does 130 views. That's
I
crazy.
know. Pretty impressive for the two of us. How much
Yeah.
on Apple Podcasts?
Oh, you
Two?
can count them on a hand. Last episode got two,
Let's go. That's
but
big.
episode 10, four.
See, episode 10 just does numbies.
It does
People want the
numbies.
episode 10. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. Like, why do people besides us, though?
I don't know. It
Who
was a
knows?
great title, so
Yeah,
I
that's
understand that for sure.
the only thought that I can have.
And
So,
there was
anyways,
a lot of drama in it too, but go ahead, go ahead.
for the 129 people that listen to this, well, I think we probably get what, like six of our six amigos, maybe 11.
I would
Do you
say
think we
more
get
than
up to
that.
11?
I think we're gonna get up to 11.
All right, 11 friends. So for the 119 folks that don't know what's going on, what the deal is, Zach and I used to live together. We used to be roommates. Started last year this time pretty much.
Yeah.
End of September, and I broke it off. I said, Zach, I don't love you anymore. I'm leaving you. And I flew the coop, spread my wings,
Left
learned
me
to
hung and
fly,
dry.
and now I'm in Ohio. What am
Ohio.
I doing in Ohio?
What are you
I'm
doing in Ohio?
studying at a university, Miami University, looking to get a master's degree, a master in biomedical science. Um, and so you're maybe wondering why the long hiatus is precisely because of that, because I flew the coop. So the last podcast episode we would have done, what I think would have been the
3 weeks
weekend,
ago?
the Monday. Would it have been the Monday after the wedding, or no?
Did we talk about the wedding? I thought it was before that.
I think it might have been before that as well. I
Hang
don't
on.
think we did an episode on the 19th.
It was
I
August
think it's been
13th. It was
okay,
before.
August 13th. So it's been two, three, yeah, 3 weeks
Three
since we
weeks.
last did it. So we've got a lot to talk about. I mean, we went to a wedding,
Hmm.
took the MCAT, I moved. Zach got a cool Costco sweatshirt. We had a couple fantasy drafts, so
There's a lot to
a
talk
lot to go
about.
through,
Yeah.
lot to go through.
What do you want to
We'll
start
do
off
our
with?
best. Let's just go chronological order, I think.
Okay.
So
So wedding first.
yeah, wedding first, and Zach, you take it away.
Yeah, so I kind of have a unique perspective on it because I was in the bridal party.
Do we need to say that? Can we can give the names right without doxing too much?
I think so, yeah.
Matt and
We won't
Katie.
Matt and Katie,
I
yeah.
think we've already doxed Matt
I
technically.
think we did too. But yeah, so the wedding, it was my first time ever being in a wedding. It was my first time being in the bridal party, and it was a very fun experience. Johnny, I don't know, you had been in one before, right? For your
I've
cousin?
not been in a wedding. I've been to a
Oh,
wedding
okay.
though.
Okay. Um, so again, it was my first friend who has been married, so first friend wedding, and it was loads of fun. The day was very busy. We were helping set up, and we had the rehearsal dinner the night before, which was a lot of fun. And the whole day really was just Matt. Matt wasn't freaking out, but he was, everyone gets the wedding jitters, if you will.
Yeah, of course.
So he was getting a little jittery. Ned, Brian, and I were just hanging out the whole day. We were playing on the Switch, and I took a lot of pictures with Matt. We were doing individual shots with the groom, and we had to do it, come up with something funny on the spot. And I don't know why, but I went with the butt smack for Matt. I
That's
should
not
have
bad.
done, I should have done the dab though. The dab I thought would have been really funny.
Oh, did he do the dab with anyone else?
No,
Oh man,
we
you
had to do
should have done the
something.
dab then,
I
because
know,
that's
I
like
know.
classic.
It
That's
was,
like
it had to be something original, and the
that's
butt
Matt
smack
core.
was the first thing that came to my mind.
So what did the other fellas do? Can we reveal that? Has it been
Um,
when are we going to get all these photos, by the way? Are they going to have like a Google Drive for us to
I
like
hope
look through
so.
photos? That'd be
I
cool.
would love these photos. I'm in a lot of them, so I would love to see them.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
they were calling it Zach's big day because it was my first time being in a wedding party. So
Wow.
everyone,
Yeah,
everyone around was saying Zach's big day. Matt
it
and
was
Katie
Zach's
were,
big day. Yeah,
yeah,
I can't
but
confirm.
they got a couple from the photographer, so I'm assuming it'll come relatively soon.
Yeah, I know they at least got those disposables, right? That's they already
Hmm.
sent us the disposies.
Yeah, but the actual photographer sent them a few. I think they're putting it together into like a little album. So I think
Mhm.
once that's done, we'll get them all. But
And so there's been I mean, this has been that was an event we were looking forward to like significantly.
yeah,
Like since it got announced, you know, at their engagement last year,
hmm
like we've definitely been really looking forward to that. I sorry to interrupt the podcast. I was going to say something, but I wasn't sure if I was just seeing like a reflection, like a weird reflection or something
saw it
like
right
that.
there.
But yeah, but you got. I was going to be like, Zach,
Yeah,
sorry to say this to the world, but you got a little schmutz on your face or something.
this is gonna be audio only, right?
Yeah, this is going to be
All
audio
right, good.
only. We're
I'm
just going
glad
to
because
put you, me, and the dogs, or you guys. That sounded way better than the picture
you,
is, but
me, and the
the
dogs. Uh,
that's what we should name the fantasy group,
you, me,
fantasy
and the
league now.
dogs. I
You,
like
me, and the
that.
dogs.
No,
Um,
I get beard dandruff a lot, and I noticed that in the corner of my eye. I was like, oh, gross.
yeah, no, you're good. I'm sorry to out you, but um, it was definitely a momentous occasion, and I don't know about you, and maybe it was just because a lot of my life also kind of ended up being not how do I want to say it? Like intertwined in a way. Like I don't know if I had already said this to you, but it was almost kind of like a barrier for me. Like that wedding weekend was like a barrier. Like once that wedding weekend was done, you
Mhm.
know, curtains drop, things start back up because so I guess and that developed in the summer, obviously,
Mhm.
more than the last year, but like through the past year, a lot of fun things have happened where we've hung out with Matt and Katie more. Or at least I had. I mean, I think Zach, you had hung out with Katie more than I had as they were dating at MSU and all that. But it was fun to get to know Katie from their housewarming party, and then going. I think we went out to dinner. We just hung out a couple times, and then um, obviously, then the other cool stuff started rolling in where there was like the bachelor or the selection of who was going to be, in the wedding party. So that was exciting. And then the bachelor party and just all this stuff like slowly building up and leading up and then the day of. So it was definitely very cool being that close to it because as though you said or like mistakenly said, and that's not a dig at you, just mistakenly said I was in my cousin's wedding. I wasn't, right? And so
Mhm.
I was very much an outsider for that. For that, it was it wasn't a whole year round build up of excitement for me. It was just, oh, this week I got to go fly to Madison, Wisconsin, and go to my cousin's wedding. Like I was looking forward to it because it was going to be like a family reunion,
Mhm.
um, but the whole build up there's not as much significance. And then when I decided to take the MCAT the week after their wedding and decided to choose this program, their wedding was definitely for me at least became like this I don't know, this barrier between like I don't know, two different chapters of my life, I suppose I would
Yeah.
say, right?
hmm
Because yeah, two completely different chapters. So um I think maybe I hope that's not too selfish of a view of their wedding, because I think it was also just a fantastic, like they did such a great job of, you know, um, involving everyone and making it just a really special day to celebrate them. And so I think it's I don't know if this is selfish or this is silly to say, but I almost want to call it like a uh, it was well done by them to make it such a great day. And maybe that's just what also I don't know. I don't. And
Yeah,
maybe
it
this
can be.
is naive. I don't. Yeah, I feel like I'm rambling, but I was just gonna say last point. Like maybe this is naive, but if you do it right, maybe that wedding day is not is more than just about the two of them. It's kind of just about life almost.
Mhm.
And maybe that's cheesy, but um, it's a huge new chapter for them too. So I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same way or anything like that.
Well, first off, it's not selfish at all for you to say that. I literally said it was Zach's big day like 10 minutes ago. So, no, I don't think it's selfish for you at all to say that. I mean, it is about Matt and Katie, but I agree. My parents were there. I've never been to a wedding with me, my mom, and my dad, and
Yeah,
surrounded by so many people that I knew and so many
yeah,
friends. And no, it was a really great experience. You put it into perfect words, I think. It is about Matt and Katie, but also it's about their family and their friends.
yeah,
And to see them come together and celebrate.
yeah.
So it was a wonderful celebration. Um, I had a thought, I forgot it. Yeah, I guess seeing my friends' parents there too was really fun.
Yeah, that was really special too. I mean,
Hmm.
gosh, it was so different, and I feel that I feel so bad for like comparing it to my cousin's wedding, but there just was something enchanting about this with all of our friends, this friend group that we've had forever, and then the
Hmm.
parents there too. Like, man,
Yeah.
that was special for sure.
And I'm excited for the next one. Not to say Matt
Oh
and Katie's
yeah.
wasn't excited, but doing
Oh,
that again,
that
doing
was
that
like the
again.
perfect floodgate opener. I like
Uh-huh.
I can't wait for the next one because of how good theirs was, I suppose
Exactly.
I'd say.
Yeah. And yeah, it was just a great time. Good vibes, great
Oh,
music.
great vibes, great. Yeah.
We so originally the you didn't go to the ceremony, right?
Right. No, I didn't go to the
Okay.
ceremony.
So originally the
Which,
ceremony.
okay, don't oh, we gotta frame that. We gotta frame that. Okay. Uh the invite said the ceremony was closed. Okay, right?
That is
The
true.
invite said
Yep,
the
yep.
ceremony was
It was a
closed.
private
It was a
ceremony.
private thing. Come to find out, I maybe could have gone, but I didn't get personally invited, and it's because of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Anyways, Zach, back to your point.
You're still thinking about that incident, huh?
I know it. I know it has an effect. So for the listeners, one of these hangouts that we had with Matt and Katie, we went to this hibachi place called Kyoto in Troy. Great, so good. I mean, the food's like not like gonna blow your socks off, but it's just like, who doesn't love to go to a hibachi spot? I wish
Right,
I
right.
had hibachi dinner every night. That shit is so much fun.
Uh-huh.
Um, and afterwards, we go get ice cream, and then it kind of rained on us when we were getting ice cream, so we were all a little bit wet. And then we went back to our house, and um, I think it was Memorial Day weekend, right? Because I feel like this was a Sunday night, and so we kind of all were free to do whatever we wanted that night because we didn't have work the next day. And so we're just kind of sitting around. No one, like, okay, this is my perspective. Obviously, Zach can, bring some perspective too, but we're just sitting
Uh-huh.
around. No one's really decided anything. I mean, also maybe again, it might just be my own perspective because I was holding the remote. I was holding the remote. I was just kind of like scrolling around Netflix, not really choosing anything, scrolling around all our different video subscription apps, or whatever you call them, streaming apps. And I end up on Paramount Plus. And we had recently, within the past few weeks, within the month, gotten back from a trip to Denver, and that was a boys' trip. So that's the important distinction, is that was a boys' trip. The fellas are having fun, and so anyways, we discovered this little thing called making from the country music channel, right? Country CMT, I think it
I
was.
don't know.
I think it was the CMT channel. Um, Discovered this little thing called Making the Cut, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And look, enough said. Just it should have been for the boys only. I ended up putting it on the TV. It was the wrong move. It wasn't the vibe. The fellas with Katie, that was a tough look. Katie wasn't having it. So
No, but I will
definitely put
say
me in the doghouse.
at the wedding, you did have a great little conversation about that because Katie was wearing cowboy boots.
Yeah, well, she brought it up too, which
Oh,
like
she
I
brought it up.
thought she,
Okay.
yeah, she mentioned it first,
Yeah.
and I thought that was very, very funny and sweet of her to do that, to kind of again like let me off the hook a little bit, to be like,
Hmm.
yeah, she basically, I forget what she said exactly, but I think she was just like, would I make the cut or something like that? And it's just like, oh yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I was
So
definitely in the doghouse, and so that's why I didn't get invited to the ceremony. No,
no,
I'm
no,
just
I don't
joking. I'm
think
just
so.
joking.
But yeah, we don't have to go too much into it because we have a lot to go over. But I'll just kind of end with, I've known Matt. You and I have known Matt since we were 10 years old,
Yeah,
middle school, and what a honor it was to be
yeah,
there celebrating with him. I mean, the biggest day of his life, and we were there with him. It was just absolutely incredible. So I'm very happy for Matt and Katie. Love you guys, and thanks again for a great, great, great night.
yeah. One last thing. I just want to make
Yeah.
one last point. We got to give a shout out to Grant.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Grant was the man for. I don't think. I think the boys in the wedding maybe didn't appreciate him as much as I did, and I
Mhm.
know that doesn't sound great, but it just comes from the fact that so Matt invited this fella named Grant to the wedding, and this guy and Matt met online playing video games, and so we all Ned, not to dox Ned, but Ned offered the birdhouse as a place that Grant could crash for, I think, just a night. I think it was quite simply just a night.
Mhm.
Um, and so the funny part about that was Ned and Zach are both in the wedding, so they had to get up going early Friday. So Grant got in like late Thursday, they got going early Friday, and so then it was just me and Grant in the house, and I was doing my studying or whatever, so I didn't really talk to him much. And again, that's I felt a little bit bad about that because this guy got invited to this house, and then all of a sudden, the three guys that he's supposed to be like hanging out with were
Just
just
leave.
absent. They
Yeah.
just weren't there. Um, and so then on the drive over, we just have a great conversation. And then all night long, like this guy's just a riot. Like he's fun to be around.
Yeah.
He's a
Great
great
dancer.
dancer,
Great dancer.
great, like just great hang, great hang. And so I think we need to give him a huge round of
Yeah.
applause for that, because I can't imagine coming out across the country to some
Yeah.
guy's wedding that you've never met face to face,
Hmm.
and then to put on a performance like that. Unbelievable,
Really
unbelievable. So I just,
inspiring.
yeah,
Inspiring stuff.
inspiring for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I hope to have a grant. I hope that there's this one guy that I invite to my wedding that
Hmm.
just all the boys are absolutely in love with.
I hope to be Grant one day.
Oh, that
I'll
too.
say it. Yeah.
That too. I'd love to be a grant. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's the last. That's. I think we can
Yeah.
wrap
We'll
on
move
that for
on.
sure.
So next up, we'll go to your MCAT.
Yeah, sure. I think so. I think. I mean, we could maybe talk about the soccer teams. Who else? I had my
Okay. Yeah, we can do that too.
final game of the
Yeah.
soccer team.
Oh man, the soccer
That
game.
was emotional.
Oh.
That was emotional. That was a great uh uh game. So it was my final game, and the numbies weren't looking great. We had
No.
low numbies. We had low numbies, but we were able to field a team. Um and I just everyone played their hearts out. I mean, it was a raucous time. It was really fun. And in we'll just call it like maybe 5 minutes left to play.
Hmm.
When our one fellow midfielder Audrey sends me in on a through ball, and I ended up scoring off that through ball, a little shot from across the box, put it into the opposite corner, and we go up 1-0, and it was just electric. And then just off of the worst bounce possible. I don't I like it. I that's how I view it. I really view it as just a terrible, terrible bounce. I mean, the ground there is notoriously bad. And then, this guy that we actually kind of became close to, his name JP, um, who was initially subbing for our team, but then once we kind of had a few more people filter in, switched to the other side and started playing for the other team. And mind you, started playing much harder than he'd
Yeah.
ever played for our team,
Yeah.
which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, he gets in through on net off of this lucky bounce, just kind of like goes, takes a terrible bounce, goes over our guy, sends JP through and on a breakaway, and he ends up scoring. And that was just really disappointing
Yeah. I mean,
from
Johnny,
all aspects.
for
I was very proud to finish, with a point with a draw,
mhm.
um, because spring 2023 that team would have died for a draw, and that's
I know.
basically the team that was out. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, we had a couple new faces, but the spring 2023 team that was who was there.
Yeah.
So just a great way to wrap it all off. But Zach, you obviously had emotions. You
I was gonna say,
gave a
so
big
the
groan.
I don't know if you remember the week before we were in the car going to get acai bowls and you said, I don't think I'm gonna score it all this season.
Wow. No,
I
I
don't know
don't
if you
remember
remember
that.
that. Okay. And I was like, no, you'll score the last game. And you're like, I don't have it in me. I lost it.
Oh,
And just to see you score on your last game with 5 minutes left, I was emotional too. I was
oh man.
so excited for you. And yeah, so it was my fault. I invited JP. Well, JP texted if we needed anybody, and I said we might
Yeah.
need a few people
No,
because
no,
it's
no.
always safe to have somebody. So I feel
Oh
personally
no, are you
responsible.
bearing this weight, Zach?
I was. So it was my fault. JP wasn't
Oh
on the
no.
team, and I wasn't in the play because, dude, when you scored, I don't know if you saw, but I was trying to play so hard after you scored to make sure we won that game.
Yeah, I was again like I was thinking we should have parked the bus, but then I started
Yeah.
creeping forward a little bit on offense. And again, like it just was the perfect storm of like I
Hmm.
had crept forward at offense at that point. Zach had subbed off, right? You had subbed off
Hmm.
at that
Yeah.
point. And again, like the bat, like it just
It
it
just
culminated in that
it did.
moment where we're head in our hands. We're like, oh, I can't believe that just happened.
I know.
It
I
and unfortunately that's soccer. Like I don't know if you watched any of the Euro 2024 tournament this summer, but
a
that
couple games, not
happened
too much.
so many times. Okay, I'm saying that a little bit biased, but that happened with Croatia
Hmm.
in like all three of their group match games. It was a little
Really.
different in the sense that they didn't lead, but they always came back to make it a game, and they'd either be tied or they'd be one goal up. Like they usually wouldn't start with lead, I suppose I would say.
Hmm.
They'd eventually get the lead or they'd be tied. And then in the last final minutes, they'd just collapse and fall apart and shut down. So it was really, it is a bummer that it happened to us, but I just have to say, like, we're just I don't know, we're just another number. Like that just happens so much,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate that it happened had to happen on my last game,
Yeah.
but that's football,
And
man.
yeah, so I don't know if you remember too, but after the game, it was great vibes. Everyone was, I mean,
Wow.
by
Yeah,
great
great
vibes, I mean
vibes.
like we were bitter. It was a bittersweet vibe, I
Yep.
would say,
Mm-hmm.
because you were
Took a
leaving.
couple fun photos.
Everyone knew it was your last game, so everyone was trying to play for
Mm-hmm.
Johnny. Everyone was playing
Mm-hmm.
for Johnny,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I loved the way the team played that day.
I'm glad we got the pictures because we had to cancel the next week because no one was in town.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? No one was
Yeah,
in town.
no, we had six people out of the and one girl.
Yeah. And I like applause for Anthony for trying to make it work, but
Yeah,
I don't know. The team clearly didn't want to play. Like he was the only
yeah.
one that wanted to play, pretty much.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, that was Sunday. Did we do acai bowls after that? I think we did. I think we got one last acai bowl in.
I think we did.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, because that was that the day we found out Sid Dog and
Oh my
Amanda
gosh, yeah, weren't
were
gonna
going to be
be
there.
the
Yeah,
next
at your
weekend.
goodbye
So
party.
yeah, so then the whole lead up that week also, like again, the wedding was a big barrier because once
Hmm.
the wedding went away, like this again might be foolish, but all summer and since even no, I would just say all summer. I did have a little anxiety about the MCAT throughout the winter and spring, but all summer I was just like I didn't have any anxiety. And then the moment that wedding and the soccer game happened, it was just like boom, brick wall. I was like, oh my God, I have to go take the MCAT now. Like
Hmm.
fantasy time's over. This is the week. This is the week of the test. So I don't know. I obviously I let it get to me because I slept in a few days. I wasn't as motivated to get up. I mean, I didn't even sleep in that bad, I don't think. It just late enough that it wasn't feasible to record the podcast.
Hmm.
Oh, we had a great Monday night. I know this is totally superfluous to the listeners, but we had this great little like I'm so glad I did it because I felt bad Sunday night. Sunday night, we got this text from Zach like, "Hey, my dad wants to buy you guys a drink at Lux.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
out." And I was already having dinner with my mom, so it just like wasn't gonna happen. But then when we got the follow up text the next night, I was like, I'm in. It was immediate for
Hmm.
me. The moment I saw it, I was like, yep, I'm in. I'm doing
Yep.
it. And so Zach's dad just on one was having a riot of a time.
My mom was gone. And when my mom leaves, my dad gets all weird and wants to do weird things. So he's just like, Zach, bring the boys. We're getting a drink at the
Get
Duke's
the
Lounge.
dogs together. Ho ho. So we found this spot called the Duke Lounge, and it was just man, it was just fun. Like it was a fun way to start the run club. And then we did run club, and I thought the run club was a good run club. And then we did, post drinks at Brooklyn after that, which I know was I don't think it was too popular amongst the commandant, but and then I
People
feel like
liked it. People liked it.
people I think people maybe liked it. Did we do something? I want to say we did one other thing after Run Club, and it
We
might have
got
just been as simple as sorry, go for it.
we just got Dairy
Ice cream.
Deluxe. Yeah.
Okay, it was ice cream. It must have been ice cream. And then did we play NCAA that night? Or
Did
had
we
we had
did
I
we wrap
already
up
given
Game of
up on
Thrones
it?
that night? Was it Game of Thrones?
Oh, did we wrap Game of Thrones that
It
night?
might have been.
No.
No, was it
It
the week
was the week
before?
before, right?
Okay. I
I
don't. I don't think
think.
we. I thought we didn't finish it until after the
Maybe we
wedding.
didn't. Wow, maybe we didn't. Okay, so yeah, so maybe we wrapped Game of Thrones. Um, and then I think nothing else too notable happened that week. Day before, I just went for a run, tried to keep it cool, but the see home track team was at the track,
Ah.
so or excuse me, cross country team,
Hmm.
so I couldn't really do my full exercise. So I just went for a run around the neighborhood. Um, that was Thursday. Got a good night's sleep. I actually went to Griffin Claw
Thursday
the
night
night
you did?
before. Yeah, Thursday night went to
Wow.
Griffin Claw.
Johnny's favorite spot.
My spot,
My Johnny's spot, not Zach's spot,
not
because
Zach's spot,
God forbid two
Johnny's
people have
spot.
the same spot. But
Is
no,
my
go ahead.
spot. Um,
My sandwich.
my my son. Um, watched The Incredibles. So
Yep.
yeah,
Hmm.
that was my pre. That was so. If anyone needs a good pre MCAT routine, actually, I can't confirm that this will work or not. I'll confirm in maybe 20 days. Um, go to Griffin Claw. Waters only, but have a nice meal. Watch The Incredibles. Get back. Get to sleep, and you're gonna be golden. So yeah. So Friday was it was again interesting. It was an interesting flip of emotion because Friday I went back to almost like non-anxiety because it was like, okay, the day's here, like nothing else to worry about. I'm just gonna go in and do it. And so yeah, so Friday rolled around, took the exam. Um, we can maybe have like a special. I can maybe release my own individual special.
Yeah, we can do that.
Talk
Up
about the
to you.
exam. And then Friday night was the going away party, and that
Yeah,
was that was fun. I think we did a good job with that one.
I think so
But
too. Real quick, shout out
yeah,
Sabrina at the party.
yeah. Shout
Sabrina
out Sabrina.
had bought us birthday gifts like
Yeah,
a month prior, and I just
yeah.
didn't tell Johnny because I wanted Sabrina. I wanted to do it on the pod, and then we stopped doing. And then, well, one episode I forgot to do it, and next episode we stopped doing it for a couple of weeks. So I wanted to have an opening on the pod, but we didn't end up having to do it. So when Sabrina came in town for Johnny's going away party, so at the party I had Sabrina give it to Johnny.
Yep, yep,
So we're
yep.
using new
So
microphones. If the sound quality's better, that's why.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, exactly. So
So
yeah, so we had a
shout out to
little going
Sabrina
away
for
party. Sabrina came.
shout out for the new
Matt
mic, Sabrina.
came. Uh, David was there. David was a good patron at that party. He came early and he stayed forever.
Yeah.
Um, oh, we had a going away meal on Wednesday night. That was also a fun little shout too. I
Hmm.
had a good time at that. But yeah, the going away party was good. Um, I don't think anything crazy notable happened at that. It was just good vibes. I mean, we
Yeah.
just had good vibes. We played a couple drinking games. Uh,
It
got the
was sad
fire
that
going.
a lot of people weren't there because again they were out of town,
Yeah,
but
yeah, we had a lot of people out of town.
But I think with people who did show, we still had a great time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate everyone that came for sure. But yeah, total bummer. Like just bizarre how many people were out of town. Like Ned was even
Ned
out of
was out
town
of
that
town. I
weekend. And
know.
that's crazy. And I mean, not to
Brian
like
was out
harp
of
on Ned,
town.
but Ned's never out of town. He's the
He's
man.
here.
He's dependable.
Hmm.
I mean, I think he'd been out of town a couple times in August, maybe. I think didn't he go up north,
He went
or
up
was
north.
that
I
July?
think it was July.
Okay, but
But
anyways, just
regardless,
shocking.
yeah.
So then, yeah, Saturday was the move. So I took the cat on Friday, moved on Saturday. Um, brought, most of the clothes, I would say, kind of some of the other essentials like bathroom stuff, laptop. Just looking around here, seeing if I can think of anything. Oh my God, I got a bed upgrade. I'm in a
You
double
did?
now. Yep.
Whoa!
Yep.
Congrats,
So
man.
thank you. Thank you.
That's
Wow, it's
big.
nice. Yeah,
Is it
it's
really?
nice. Oh,
You
Zach, I love the birdhouse, but I miss that queen bed from Kansas City so much. That was the best bed ever. I had
did
so much bed to myself in that
do
queen
you
bed.
do you move around a lot when you sleep?
Um, I guess I would say I don't think I do because I'm able to stay on my twin pretty easily, but it's just
Okay.
so nice being able to I like to sprawl, like
Oh,
just,
okay.
and maybe not necessarily when going to bed, but in the whole like lead up of going to bed, like just flop on the bed, sprawl out a little bit, stretch yourself.
Hmm.
And it's just nice having that full width. You don't have to worry about a wall right next to you or anything like that. You
Yeah.
just get a nice big stretch in, and you got all this room. So, it's been 2 years since that queen bed, and
Wow.
I think about it all the time. But now that I'm in the double, um, it's
You're not
nice being back. Nice being
not
back
going
in the
back.
double.
Well, I'm happy for it. It was worth the move now.
Thank you. It was entirely worth it. It was now. Don't let me forget that. In like 3 years, if I'm
Hmm.
bitching and moaning about this, adventure, be like, all right, well, at least you get to sleep in a double.
You got the double bet.
You got the double.
So
And
yeah, I
yeah,
have a question for you.
question. Yeah, I'll
You're
try to give you an
25 years
answer.
old.
Oh my God, yeah, 25.
25 years old. What's it like being back in school? Tell our viewers what it's
Yeah,
like.
I I will say, like, this is gonna sound bad, and I don't mean it to be yet because it's still so early on, but it feels like a mistake. It
Oh,
feels like I
whoa,
don't. It
whoa,
feels like I shouldn't be.
whoa,
Like
really?
I just like, yeah. I mean, um, not that anyone I've met has been like mean or like ageist or anything like that, but there's definitely um I just and I gotta stay focused, but I do like, I know I didn't like my job, but I do feel like 25-year-olds belong in the workplace and not back on like a campus. And that might just be a little bit biased because so many classes that I'm taking right now are mixed,
Mhm.
undergrad and graduate. So there's just a good chunk of still like intertwining with undergraduates, which is not a bad thing
Mhm.
because they're just people. They're just younger people. And so far, again, they've all been super nice, but it is just something funny about it. There's just a funny air about it, funny aura about it. Um, and so, um, yeah, I don't know. You have to, yeah, I don't know, do it for yourself to
Mhm.
experience it. And maybe, like, again, I'm not trying to bash anything. I'm just throwing out suppositions, but maybe it's the program. Maybe if you do like an MBA, it doesn't feel so weird. You know what I mean? Like, because there's just so many more professionals doing an MBA.
Yeah.
Maybe if you are doing
Masters of HR or something like that.
masters of HR. I mean, yeah, I would say anything in business. I feel like
Hmm.
there's maybe a little bit more professional sense about it. Because right now it still definitely seems just a little undergraduate-y, and
Right.
I'm a little bit like, oh man,
If it makes you feel bad, I don't know how they felt, but when I did my master's, we had a lot of older people.
yeah,
Like we had like 27, 33. There was a 50-year-old in the program.
wow,
Or in my cohort
right,
alone. Yeah. So I think you just got bad end of a deal.
yeah, I know, just got the short straw.
Yeah.
but again, like it is so early to judge. And I will say, all right, so I've done this is my third move now, right? So I
Hmm.
lived maybe you could maybe even call it fourth if we want to throw in first college, undergraduate of college, right?
Yeah, we can call it
And
that.
I think we should. I think we definitely should count that in. Even though it was, still in state and was only an hour down the road.
Hmm.
I definitely was cut off. Like I didn't
Yeah.
bring a car. I didn't bring a car to that. So I was very much, cut off from home. Um, and so fourth move, I at this point I just know that any, nervousness or regrets or whatever that I feel right now, it's just like you can't rely on it. It's just so early to
Hmm.
to count that as a legitimate feeling. Um and but I also, to that point, I think that well, I guess we'll see it too, because I would probably say the same thing about Kansas City. I feel like I remember the first 2 months of Kansas City, I was like, oh, this is normal. I'm okay. Everything's okay. And then it kind of ended up kind of collapsed in January, February. Like, I don't know. I just had a rough January, February. I don't know. It's too far away now to really give it a good explanation of what happened. But um, I just got into a huge funk in that time in Kansas City, and so maybe, hopefully, knock on wood, the same thing doesn't happen here. But I definitely feel like here I was able to find my footing much quicker. Fourth time around, I was able
Yeah.
to
No, that's great.
be a little bit more settled. So,
And you,
anyways, yeah, rambling.
well, you moved to Kansas City at what, 22?
I moved at the age of 22. Is that what you're
22.
saying? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And you're
and then
25 now.
in yeah.
I know it's only been 3 years, but a lot's happened in
Oh
three
my
years.
gosh,
So
so
I'm
much has
happy you're able to
happened.
find your footing a little bit better this
Yeah,
time around.
yeah. I guess I would almost also argue a bit that that is another little bit of why it almost feels like a mistake, because I would almost argue that all this cool stuff was happening, or was almost just, starting to happen, to me, and then I kind of put the kibosh on it. I mean, yes, this thing's only a year, so it's not like this is going to be forever. Um, because after that year, I suppose new cool things can start happening. I guess in a little sense, I feel like I'm a little restricted from cool stuff happening in terms of maybe like travel, or I mean, meeting new people. I should be able to meet plenty of cool new people here. But also in the same vein of like, oh, this is only a year. The people that I meet here, it's almost going to be a little fleeting. I suppose I would say that
Hmm.
scares me a little bit. Is you know, I hope to maintain those connections, but it it's only going to be a year. It's kind of like, I would say probably like a 90% chance that most of the people or that a new person that I meet here, I don't. This sounds terrible, but don't stay friends with, in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because like
And
when I was back home in Michigan, like when I moved back home to Michigan from Kansas City, and I was just like, this is it. This is, I'm staying in Michigan. Pretty much was the thought at that point. Every new person that I met was like, oh, this is a potential new lifelong friend. Because like, and that was
right.
obviously a selfish view, because people, but outside of me, they go and move and do other things. But I'm like, oh, I don't know. And I don't know if I described that well, um, but I suppose I do feel like I gave up some good friendships in Michigan. And again, that's not to say that I won't maintain some of those friends that I made in the past couple of years in Michigan, but um, I don't know. I don't know if that any of that made sense. I feel like
I
I'm
know what you're trying
rambling
to say.
again, but yeah.
No, I understand 100% what you're trying to say. And I just want you to know they'll be here when you get back.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
mean,
don't need to worry. What I would worry about for you is to focus on making friends there.
yeah.
And I know it's fair to say. I mean, not to like throwing the bus, but have you made a lot of friends since you've been there?
I would say no. I've introduced to a handful of people, introduced myself to a
Hmm.
handful of people, but I wouldn't um, say that it's been like a flourishing friendship machine out here.
Okay. Well, I mean, still, you got a lot of time, so don't give up
Again,
on
yeah,
the
no, like again,
the hope.
and that's the experience. Is like I know that things will happen, and
Hmm.
that again, like moving to Kansas City, I didn't know. Even at Michigan, and that was all even based off of Michigan. Is like both of those experiences. I mean, at Michigan, I definitely probably had a little bit more hope, but like moving to Kansas City, I was like, I don't know. I didn't know if things were gonna turn around, and maybe that's why I collapsed in January, February, is because at that time I still didn't really have like a local friend.
Hmm.
But it honestly took time because March, April of that year is when I finally started making friends, primarily through work, but work friends, and so that's what kind of started help making life a little bit brighter over there in KC. But so anyways, like uh I agree. Like I think it's definitely way too early to discount anything. And so it is so early in the process that any conclusion that I can't make a single conclusion right now. There's
Hmm.
so much more to be done.
A
But yeah,
lot of
but
life
I
to live over there.
a lot of life to live. Yeah, no doubt. But again, well, I suppose my counterpoint would be like there's not as much life to live as being off on your own in the workplace
Hmm.
because of I don't know, just different. It's just different. For me, now that I'm, reflecting on a little bit, and again, I'll get another perspective of it at the end of the year. But for me, like coming out of undergrad, um,
You muted yourself, Johnny. You're
this dang
back.
thing. All right. Um, as I guess the I don't even know what point I'm trying to make, but I suppose I would say that and again, this is the part of the reason why I said it feels like a mistake, but I would say that the post or that the work world, even though again, like I didn't very much like my most recent job, um, has been a much more flourishing environment for me than college. Like college undergraduate was not. I don't feel like I flourished. I don't feel like I did very well in those 4 years. But I would say in the 3 years since graduating, um, even with its ups and downs, I would say I've definitely floored. And maybe this is a biased perspective, recency bias, but I would say that it feels like I've grown more and at a rate that I prefer or would have liked to have grown in my
Hmm.
time at Michigan, University of Michigan.
Yeah,
Um,
makes
and
sense.
so yeah, so that's so I sorry to cut you off one more time, but I
That's
guess
all right.
that's the concluding point is like it feels a little bit like for a couple of reasons it feels like a mistake, but one of the reasons is like, oh, was I and again, this might just be recency bias or whatever, but it feels like this past 3 years that I started to kind of find this flourishing in my life. I then just immediately put the kibosh on it and went back to school. That's how it feels right now. Again, it is so early that maybe this part I'll look back and be like, man, that was just another part of the flourishing post, undergraduate life. And it was an excellent chapter. So um, I hope that makes sense, and I hope I'm not boring the
Yeah.
the viewers by now.
No, no, very emotional episode out of the driveway podcast. This one.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much has happened since the last one. Like, don't you think? I think
Yeah,
there's
a
a lot
lot
of
has
big
happened.
things, and
You not
so
being sorry, you not being in the birdhouse has definitely affected Ned and I a whole lot.
wow, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, and after my basically I've been talking the last hour. Zach, I want to give you the floor. What's happened in your last month? Give me your emotions. Give me
So
your thoughts,
not
feelings.
no, I mean obviously I'm happy. I'm obviously very sad that you're gone, but I'm happy you're killing it in Ohio, and good things are gonna come. It's just part of getting the training wheels off, if you will.
Exactly. Yep.
But they're honest, like I'm sure you're thinking about Michigan, like, oh man, they're doing so many cool things because we were doing a lot of cool things while you were here, and we're still doing them, but there's nothing necessarily new or exciting that's happened since you left. Um, Ned's got the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Lainey, she's great.
Shout out Laney.
But so when like it was kind of weird, you left and then Lainey came in, and so I'm hanging with Ned and Lainey a lot now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like we were playing Mario Party a couple days ago. That was a lot of fun.
Oh,
I
cool.
went to Arts Beats and Eats with them.
Yeah.
Met some of Lainey's friends. They were all really great. But we're doing the same old over here. So it's kind of exciting. Like I get to see a new chapter of one of my friends' lives when I'm doing the
Yeah.
exact same thing over here. And then yesterday, I don't know if I want this on the pod, but yesterday I had a co absolute
Oh,
collapse of a day.
yeah. Do we talk
So,
about this?
all right,
I
you know what?
guess
Screw it.
let
We'll
me
talk
know,
about it.
talk about it
We'll
and
talk
just
about it.
let me know. Let me know after if you
Okay.
want me to cut it or
No, we'll
anything
keep it.
like
Who
that.
cares?
Uh,
We'll keep it. Who cares?
oh
So
man, ladies and
this,
gentlemen, you're about to strap in, lock in. This is, turn off anything else. If you're driving, pull over, just get into a Meyer parking lot, just hang out, listen intently.
I know we normally do most valuable and least valuable, but since it's been 3 weeks, we don't need to do it this week unless
Sure.
you want to. But I think this is my least valuable of like my year.
Yeah.
So
Of the
there's a lot
decade.
of maybe of the probably not of the decade. COVID is pretty bad. I think
Oh,
COVID's worse than this.
yep. Okay, fair, fair.
But um to go so this is a TMI story. So if you're grossed out, feel free to skip to the end of the pod where we say our goodbyes. But basically, it was during work on Wednesday, I know Tuesday, on Tuesday, and I had to use the bathroom, so I went number two, and it was one of those number twos where no matter what you do, you keep wiping and it's still there. It feels like it's still there. So in the bathroom at my office, there's a timer on the light switch where when you come in, if there's no motion detected, within 10 minutes the lights turn off.
Right.
And so since I was in they're going number two for a while, the lights turned off, and I couldn't see what was when I was wiping. I couldn't see if I was making any progress or not. So I didn't want to put my underwear back on because I didn't want to, I didn't want to get my underwear stained if there was some stuff left over.
Right, right.
So the lights are off. So I had my pants around my knees, and I'm wearing a longer shirt. So I kind of hover over my downstairs area. And I open the bathroom stall and I walk outside to turn the lights on. And the second I opened my door, the other door to come into the bathroom opened up, and I just assumed it was my door. So I walk out, the lights turn
Oh.
on, and I make eye contact with a gentleman I work with. And I don't know what happened. I blacked out at this point. I don't know. I let go of my shirt, so I don't know if he saw. I don't know what he saw. I don't know if he saw my
Yeah.
bum. I don't know if he saw the front of me. I don't know if he saw both. But it was such it literally could not have been a worse timed event. So I basically ran back in my stall and just was like, oh, I was cringing to myself, waiting for him to leave so I can wrap up and then cry. And then, so after that happened, I ran out, I finished, texted the boys. The first person I texted was our group chat. And I was like,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
I'm going to get a felony. I just did the worst thing happened to me. And
Yeah, the felony was funny. It was like, felony? What did
because,
this guy just do?
but to this guy, it looked like I was hiding in the bathroom naked with the lights off.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the
Waiting,
second
waiting for someone.
waiting. I was waiting for someone to come in so I could freak him out, show him my genitals or whatever. So that was really bad. I was nervous the entire day. I almost left work because I was so nervous
I-
about
That
what was
wouldn't
going to
have been
happen.
crazy. I don't think that would have been crazy
And I
at
like
all.
throughout the day, he sits across the office from me. So
Yeah.
every once in a while, I sneak a little like side eye to him and see if we make eye contact. I almost want to like talk to him and be like, dude, I want to explain the story, but I feel like if I explain it, it'll make it worse. I feel like
It'll
we
make
should
it work. Yeah.
not
No,
talk about it.
yeah. I think you can definitely, I want to say, I feel like you can offer an apology, but not anymore. Like
Not
if
anymore. It's too
if
late. It's too
on
late.
Tuesday, like you could have swung by his next school, just been like, sorry about that. Just no words. You could just been like, no words. Sorry about that.
It
Yeah,
was
trust me, it's not gonna happen again. And
It
then
was
blew by my
so
head.
unfortunate. And I was thinking, like, I'm in HR, dude. This is such a bad look for being in HR. But it was just an unfortunate accident. And the guy, I'm not fired. So I'm assuming the
Yeah,
guy didn't see anything or was just like, oh, that happens. It was just really
yeah.
unfortunate. And if I could go back in time, I would have just waited for him to walk through had I known. Or I would have
I
just.
I agree though. I don't know what you do in that scenario.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think if that's ever happened to me, and it has, but not like what you've experienced because the lights have gone out while I've been on the toilet, but in a private bathroom.
Mm.
So
This is all
you've
public.
got, I had full ability to stand up, wave my arms, do whatever it took to get those
Hmm.
lights back on. I don't
And the,
think I've
and the
ever done it
sensors
in
are
a
outside of the
public
stall,
bathroom.
which I guess is a good thing because, but not good for me.
No.
So,
So I guess I forget this. Did you say this in your story? Did he immediately turn around and go?
no, we went to the bathroom.
Okay. So there was some awkward silence in that
Yeah.
bathroom.
Uh-huh.
Oh, brother. So
You
you
could
went
cut it
back
with a
in that
knife.
stall.
I ran,
Did
I
you
ran in the stall.
did you start to wipe or were you just like, I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna
No,
wait till this guy leaves and then I'm gonna wipe, I'm gonna finish up, and then I'm gonna leave?
I
Or
waited
did you try
and
to get out of there?
I waited for him to finish and I just sat there like, Please say something or don't say something. I don't, my
Yeah,
mind was going, I was thinking 100 thoughts. I almost considered getting on the toilet so he couldn't see my shoes in case he was
yeah,
gonna like do
yeah.
that, but I ended up
Take a little
just
peek, be like, who is
the
that?
the cringe of what happened just like
Oh,
you know the fight or flight.
oh,
Hey, it's frozen,
I can't
dude.
imagine. I
So
can't. I mean, that's definitely nightmare fuel right there.
I appreciate the boys though helping me out because I was really freak tweaking about it,
Yeah,
and they helped calm me down. So
good.
all right, this is just got to go. And it's too funny of a story not to
Yeah,
share.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll put it.
So
We'll leave it there.
Mr.
But yeah,
Sir, if you ever
that was a good text,
if this story ever goes viral, Mr. Sir, if you ever see me,
Mister Sir.
no hard feelings. I'm sorry I did that to you.
You
I'd love to
didn't
have you on
mean
the
it.
pod.
You
If
didn't mean it.
you want to come on the pod and explain your side of the story, I'd
Yeah,
love to
yeah,
hear
yeah,
that.
yeah. If you want to come on the pod,
So,
please invite him. Maybe that's the apology.
do you want
Coming
to come
up
on
to
my
him, be like,
podcast and talk about it?
"Hey, really sorry what happened, but if you want, I've got this podcast. You can come on, talk about it. The viewers would love to hear."
Hmm.
But
Um,
that no, that's hilarious. I mean, it's terrible. I mean,
no, no,
you just had a nice long weekend. You're
hmm.
back in the office. You're looking forward to your 4 day work week, and
And
then
then it
you go and flash a guy.
blows up in my face. So, no, but I mean, I'm a better man for it. I won't let it happen again. That's I actually will not let it happen again. I'm gonna poop so quick now.
Zach's poops are going to be so fast. He's going to eat so much fiber, he
So
will
much
never
fiber.
have to wipe again. Part of
Damn right.
this, you can maybe, oh,
Okay.
do we blame this on the bidet? Because you got so used to the bidet cleaning you off
Maybe.
that
Yeah.
you forgot how to properly clean yourself
I,
up.
it's not the bidet's fault. It's my fault for letting myself get too comfortable. It's
Ah,
not the bidet. The bidet is still like the hero of the story.
yeah,
Had there been a bidet in the office, this would have never happened.
that's
But
true. That's true. Had there been a bidet, this would not have happened.
so it's
No
my fault for getting too
problems.
comfortable. My fault for freaking out. My fault for taking too long.
Yeah,
So,
you can't get
you know,
complacent like that. You gotta stay alert, stay on your feet.
yeah. So that's it. That's all I got. That's pretty much everything interesting that's happened since you've left. Just more run club,
More
no
run club.
soccer,
Run club's fun.
no
But again,
soccer, and
kind of
getting
to
walked
bring it
in.
back to like a to an overarching theme, an overarching point. It's just like I I I wouldn't expect anything crazy cool to have happened to you guys. It as we I feel like again as we've learned, it just takes time for cool stuff to set in to happen. Like it took a year from me moving back to Michigan for us to all move in together.
Hmm.
Um, it took 8 months for us to finally start meeting some new people.
Yeah,
We it took like, and that's I'm calling out the soccer team right there. And probably not 8 months. It would have been maybe 5, 6 months or something like that.
yeah,
And then it took us a year to find Run Club.
yeah,
So you just have to slowly, you just have to let it come. You just have to, yeah. I mean, you can take action to make some things happen quicker. But I think you just have to sometimes some or maybe the point is like some of the best things that end up happening to you are just things that come, that I don't know, oh natural. You just let the life happen around you.
My To end it with a Brian Jennings quote, my dad always says, "Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon."
Amen.
So
Amen.
good
And
things don't.
that's the Duke Lounge. That's the guy that brought us
Yeah,
to the Duke Lounge. All right. Do you have time? Do you want to talk about fantasy real quick? We could maybe even
yeah,
split this
yeah,
episode into two or something like that. But
yeah. We can do
two
that.
45-minute segments, something.
Up to you.
Okay.